What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. That Geeky guy here, and today we'll be looking at a Viserai deck just under $30. So you should be able to get all the cards you need for this deck for just under $30. I'm gonna go through the deck list, and you guys can actually check the deck itself out in the link down in the description below. So first things first, let's go through the deck, and then we just go through the equipment choices. So let's start with the cards himself. So you'll see almost even split of non-attack and attack action in this deck because it is important to be able to activate our Rosetta. But before we go to that, let me just quickly go through the attack action and non-attack action. So we have 3 copies of Amplify the Arknight. So Amplify the Arknight is a really good card because it costs less to play if you have some rune chants in control. So that's pretty good. If you have like maybe 2 rune chants in control and you play this, it's just gonna cost 1. And then we have Arcanic Crackle, a very cost efficient card. You get to deal 3 damage and then 1 arcane, so that's cool. Consuming Volition, if you have dealt any arcane damage this turn, you get an effect where if it hits a card, you discard a card, your opponent discards a card. Drawn to the Dark Dimension, I'm only running 1 copy because it can be a bit resource heavy, cost 2, but combining it with Moraine Sky, you get to actually draw a card and then you have to go again, so that's pretty cool. And then you can even arsenal that card if you want, because this costs you, Moraine Sky is a 0 cost. So what you might want to do is play out Moraine Skies, play Drawn to the Dark Dimension, and then just swing the blade. And then we have Lead the Charge, which is useful to give our attacks and non-attacks go again. We do have only 1 non-attack which doesn't have go again, which is, if you scroll down a bit, we can see there's the Read the Runes. But we want to sideboard these out depending on matchups, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. Next, we have Meet and Greet. Meet and Greet is, actually has go again if you have dealt any arcane damage. So it is possible to have a big turn with something like a Moraine Sky, and then doing a Arcanic Crackle, dealing arcane damage, and then going into a Meet and Greet before finishing up with a Rosetta Thorn. So that's actually some of the cool combos you can pull off. And then we're looking at a Plunder Run. Plunder Run gives us the ability to draw and also a non-attack action, which basically fulfills the condition of Rosetta. So that's pretty cool. So there are some generics in this deck. We are looking at Ravenous Rebel. Just for the we do value the go again, so we can combine it with some non-attack, which we will be talking about in a bit. So there is a generic non-attack in this deck, which we will touch upon. So we are looking at Reduce to Rune Chant as our defense reaction as of choice. So it is really cool because it gets us a new Rune Chant token each time we play this out. We do have to keep in mind that we should keep at least 1 Rune Chant in play if you want to use a Reduce to Rune Chant. But we want to take this out depending on matchups, which I will be talking in a bit. Next, we are looking at Rune Flash. It costs less to play for every Rune Chant you control. If you do not have any Rune Chant, it's going to be a bit difficult to play this card out because it is quite resource heavy. So you want to make sure you have some Rune Chants before playing this card out. Next, we are looking at Scar for a Scar. So if you have lower life than your opponent, it gains go again. Sigil of Suffering. Really cool defense reaction where you deal 1 arcane damage to the attacking hero. Sink Below. And then Spellblade Assault. A pretty self-explanatory Spellblade Strike. Waxing Malice. A really cost-efficient card. You're dealing 2 arcane. And then we have Captain's Call here. So Captain's Call is going to allow our non-attacks to have our attack action, that costs 1 to have go again, or even +2 depending on how we want to play this. We can use this in conjunction with our generics, either to buff them or allowing them to have go again. But most of our generics do have a go again, either conditionally or unconditionally, so that's not an issue. Next, we are looking at Become the Arknight. So this is really good to actually filter out our hands. It is possible to have all non-attack or all attacks in our hands, so we are going to filter some of them out. So Become the Arknight is really a cheap card to get actually, even though it's a super rare. It costs about less than $2 each copy. So you should be able to grab those. And then we're looking at Maureen Sky Blue. So we can pitch this, we can play this out. It's really useful to have a blue Maureen Skies in our deck. Spellbird Assault. The blue one is valued here because it allows us to create 2 rune chants. Tome of the Arknight, just to fulfill the 2 non-attack. Even though we don't really care about hitting or not hitting, it's cool if you can hit an attack action and non-attack action. But if we don't, it's okay because we just want to be able to swing the Rosetta. Next, we are looking at a Vexing Madness Blue. We're putting a blue one here because it still deals to arcane damage regardless of the base damage here. So that's pretty much it for the deck. So depending on matchups with Warrior, you might want to play a more tempo-based game by removing some of the generics. I would suggest to remove the Ravenous Rebel and also maybe leave Scar in, but removing Ravenous Rebel and certain resource-heavy cards such as Rune Flash. So what you want to do, you're focusing more on playing Lead the Charge and then read the runes to create rune chants, stack up some of the rune chants, and then try to poke the warrior into submission. So you want to put in all the defense reaction you have. So with read the runes, reduce the rune chant, it's really easy to activate. And then with 9 defense reaction, you shouldn't face any issue. Against aggro decks, you want to actually reduce the number of defense reaction. I would suggest putting in removing the reduce to rune chant, removing read the runes, maybe even removing the lead the charge, and then putting in 6 defense reaction, or maybe even just 3 by just playing the Sigil of Suffering. So you might want to play around with the sideboarding a bit, but that should be the essence of it. So let's take a look at the equipments. So since we are on a tight budget, we wouldn't be able to run all those fancy stuff. But if you could, feel free to actually replace those equipment with the legendaries. Those would be a better option. I think except for the Snapdragon Scalers, it is, I think, still the ultimate best choice because we are currently running a kind of a mid-range deck. So Snapdragon Scalers actually promotes the Go Again, which is really useful actually. So our weapon of choice, of course, Rosetta. So there are multiple times that I talked about this in this video, where we want to fulfill the condition of playing attack action, non-attack action. It's really annoying for the opponent to deal with the 2 arcane. It's Iron Wave, so you want to activate this if you require some resource in a pinch. And then we are looking at a Crown of Dichotomy, so Arcane Barrier for maybe some mirror matches, or you're finding yourself going against a control deck. They want to deck you out, so you might want to play this for the useful recycling ability. Hope Merchant Hood, you want to play this if you can actually finding yourself in a pinch where you require some cycling, so you can play this instead of the Crown. And then we are looking at Iron Rod Gauntlet, more armor against Warrior. Now Rune Glove, you can play this against maybe Kano. Kano, you don't usually see Kanos in CC, but if you are afraid of Kanos, you can actually play 2 Arcane Barriers. And then the Now Rune Glove itself, you can play 2 if you are going against Briar that really play, I mean, most of the Rune Blades anyway plays Rosetta Thorn, so you can actually run 2. It's not too bad to prevent those Arcane. But I would suggest still to prioritize the Iron Rod Gauntlet. And then finally, we're looking at the Snapdragon Scalers just for the Go Again. So that's it, guys. That's the deck under $30, I believe. And let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do like and subscribe. And see you guys in the next one. Bye.